Hello, everyone. It's for me a great honor to be here in the second edition of a global webinar on nanotechnology and nanoscience. I want to tell you that English is not my mother tongue. I'm a Spanish speaker, so sometimes my phonetic could be a bit different. This work this research is about microplastics and nanoplastics in the Antarctic Peninsula, considerations on its impacts on ecosystems. The authors of this research are Professor Martin Diaz, Professor Emilio Andrada, Professor Mariano Ferro, and me, Professor Maria Cecilia Colautti, from the Defense University of Argentine Army. Let me start to talking you about the Antarctic continent. This continent is a unique place on Earth, characterized by two singular aspects: its natural particularities, biologicals, geologicals, climatics, who they are not found in any other region of the planet. And its locations around the pole who make it different from the situation of North Pole. Where in the North Pole only find frozen water. North Pole isn't a continent. Antarctic and South Pole, it's a continent. Antarctica covers an area of almost 14 million kilometers and contains 30 million kilometers of ice. It has unique extreme climatic conditions that, after millions of years of relations, have generated a unique diversity on the planet. About 90% of the fresh water on Earth's surface is found in the ice sheet, an amount equivalent to 70% of water in the world's ocean. But Antarctic have other uniqueness. It's the only region on the planet governed by a group of countries. In 1959, first international Antarctic Treaty was signed in Washington. Through this have a regulatory framework to provide a pay-for use and research cooperation for the Antarctic continent. 12 countries, you can see the flags in the slides, signed the Antarctic Treaty, but only 7 claims sovereignty for the Antarctic continent. Okay, thank you, sorry. Well, only 7 countries claim for sovereignty. They are Australia, New Zealand, Chile, United Kingdom, Argentina, France, and United and nothing more. Let me read something about a little part of this treaty. It's the interest of all humanity that Antarctica always continues to be used exclusively for a peaceful purpose and not became the scene or object of international discord. You can use Antarctic continent for defense or strategy, only for peaceful cooperation and research. This is what I'm saying. Yes, only the Antarctic continent can be used for all the countries signing in the treaty for peaceful use and research cooperation. And today, we have to add the environmental protection. The Antarctic Treaty is operated through the Antarctic Treaty Consultative Meeting. They are composed for consultative part and non-consultative part, who meet once a year to discuss and adapt management for the Antarctic continent. This Antarctic Treaty Consultative Meeting is advised on environmental matters for this Committee for Environmental Protection. At the same time, this Committee for Environmental Protection is advised for two important organizations who are the Scientific Committee on Antarctic Research and the Council of Managers of National Antarctic Programs. Yes, I know this is a complex system, but this system identifies the environmental issues of interest for the Antarctic continent and establish the priorities for research directions. So for us, the researchers, this is important because through this, we can understand what are the scientific needs of Antarctica. In 1991, a protocol was signed in Madrid. Through this, the protocol, the local, to this protocol, a local structures were protected, like through this, all signatory nations undertake to regulate their activities and their ensuring or prior evaluation of them, subject to monitoring and information process towards the other signatories in order to ensure the minimization of any type of environmental protects. This protocol was made for protect on the local threshold in Antarctica, like environmental impact, like hydrocarbon spills, fauna protection interaction with human beings, waste management, marine pollution. But now we have to add other problems. Now we have to fight with local and global stressors. The global stressors like change global temperatures, ocean acidification, ozone loss, territorial and marine pollution, etc., make a situation who need gather information about these issues to implement measures to regulate and minimize this impact. We have these new problems, but we have more. The Scientific Committee of Antarctic Research updated document about Antarctic climate, incorporating aspects about climate changes. These climate changes in Antarctic impact is the principal environmental stressor today. To give us some information about this winter, Antarctic set the minimum record for amount of interwinter ice. We never set such levels. of ice in Antarctica. One of the local forcings detected and represent, and that represents one of the new areas of research in Antarctic pollution. This new aspect add to the global stresses, the climate, the changed climate, and now the plastic pollution, a new challenge for us, the researchers in the Antarctic area. Where we can find nanoplastics and microplastics in Antarctica, in water, in sediments, in ice, in glaciers, in stations, in snow, in flora and fauna, and in the air. The numbers of scientific stations, and I forget to tell you something, there are two commercial activities for a lot in Antarctica, fishing and tourism. So the number of scientific stations and tourism and fishing is on rise. So this despises the management of the framework for the Antarctic environmental protection. Near some scientific stations, the degradation of microplastics as well as microplastics and nanoplastics were found in the wastewater from personal care products and landed products can be one of the potentially aspects to affect the marine organisms. But Houston, we have another problems. We have the long-range atmospheric transportation who are outside the Antarctic's borders. And this, for us, is a very, very, very important aspect to take when we have to new researches about micro and nanoplastic, because they are from outside the Antarctic Peninsula. Well, where we can find nano and microplastics in Antarctica. The microplastic and nanoplastics are an emerging area of research in Antarctica, where first study was in 2010. Microplastics and nanoplastics have been found in the deep sea sediment in the Weddell Sea. Weddell Sea is a protected area. And me and my team, we are part of this research. In marine sediments near Rotary Station and Terranova Bay, other area protected area. So of the polar front and the surface water of the Southern Ocean, other protected area. Microplastics and nanoplastics were recently identified for the first time in the fresh water in the Antarctic, especially protected area of Libya. A study investigating aerosol particulate matters of the surrounding of the Spanish Antarctic Research Station, Gabriel de Castilla, on Deception Island, collected air samples during the 2016 and 2017 astral summer season. Using Raman spectroscopy and scanning electron microscopy with the energy dispersed X-ray spectroscopy, the study identified the first event of microplastic fibers in Antarctic air. A separate study investigating airborne microplastic in the Ross Island, near to the East Coast base at McBurger Station, analyzed snow samples collected at 19 sites in the late 2019. An average of 29 microplastic particles per liter were identified using microfluoride transformer infrared spectroscopy. The possibility source of this microplastic pollution include long-range atmospheric transportation of up to 6,000 kilometers and local atmospheric transportation from every research station. The Antarctic Research Committee wrote a resolution number 5, to reduce plastic pollution in Antarctica and the Southern Ocean. Established to eliminate personal care products containing micro and nanoplastics used in the Antarctic trade area, identify and exchange information with other parties in the method should be implemented to reduce microplastic release from wastewater system, support gradient monitoring of plastic pollution in Antarctica using development standards and comparative methodologies, particularly near areas of human activity. Invite the Scientific Committee on Antarctic Research to report a new information emergencies that quantify plastic pollution and detail the risks to the Antarctic species and communities. Consider the issues of the microplastics and nanoplastics released in connection with any possible future revision of Annex 3 and 4 to the Protocol on Environmental Protection to the Antarctic Treaty. The Committee for Environment Protection established among the most significant environmental pressures, respond to local and long-range pollution, and provide guidance and tools to monitor and reduce and respond to the local pollution, mainly chemical pollution and bioplastics. The Committee for Environmental Protection also identifies a specific science needs regarding plastic pollution, including ACEs to impact of plastic pollution on natural systems under multiple stressors, scenarios, determine sources and transport route of plastic pollution in the Antarctic marine and terrestrial environments. And the CONMAP also collect information on microplastic and nanoplastic pollution and also conducts surveys to the national programs on the use of plastics. The full result of this status of the situation was presented to the Antarctic Trade Consultative Meeting and the Committee for Environmental Protection. The summary of current knowledge on nanoplastics and microplastics in the Antarctica are: microplastics are an emerging reservoir, which the first studies was in Antarctica in 2010. Oceanographic dispersal models indicate that the majority of the plastic found in the Antarctic soil from water is originated outside of the polar front. This is our big problem. Airborne microplastic and nanoplastic have recently been found reported in the King George Island. Recent atmospheric transport modeling indicate that Antarctica is a net importer for microplastic and nanoplastics. At present, more research has been conducted in the marine environment, with very little known about the presence of micro and nanoplastic on the Antarctic continent, especially airborne. The Scientific Committee, the Antarctic Research, coordinates and collects information on research related to microplastics and nanoplastics. They are carried out in the Antarctic trade area. From the information present report on the status in the Antarctic Trade Consultative Meeting. To support these aims and science needs, The Scientific Committee for Antarctic Research recommends that future research should be focused on the following priorities: evaluating the extent of public pollution in the Southern Ocean, improving our understanding of current and future effects of plastic pollution on Southern Ocean, biota, and ecosystems, providing the research evidence needs to underpin effective global cooperation to build a common framework for developing an Antarctic plastic footprint action plan, and consultative information and plastic relief activities and initiatives from different nations operating in Antarctic. This is a research from the Scientific Committee in Antarctic Research, who told us about what are the sources of marine microplastic pollution. We have primaries, I will tell you, from laundries and personal care products, and secondaries, from macroplastics degradation to microplastics and nanoplastics, who could be eaten by the animals from Antarctica, and this could be poisoning for them. But for me, the most important and most sad information is this. It's estimated that 45 to 500 kilos of microplastic particles from a personal care product were found in this research, and 0.5 to 25.5 billions of plastic fiber from laundry enter the Southern Ocean per decade. This is a sad information for us in Antarctic researchers, and this is too a sad information for us. We found micro nanoplastic in the king penguin. King penguin is a protected animal in the Antarctic. Residual micro nanoplastic will have also been found in the king penguin from the subantarctic location, and microplastic and nanoplastic are found in 20% of fecal samples. The microplastic and nanoplastic includes microfibers in 58%, fragment in 26%, and film in 16%, and were of different size, colors, and polymer composition. This is the king penguin. To have a conclusion, the environmental problems and the impact of climate change in Antarctica are among the challenges faced by researchers affiliated to the Antarctic Trading Consulting Meeting and the Committee for Environmental Protection. Additionally, we must add the challenge of the recent discovery of micro nanoplastic in sediment, water, snow, and fauna and flora. The majority of the work carried out by the researchers from the countries that make up the Antarctic Treaty focus on preventing the unique characteristics of the Antarctic region. This is essential for the conservation of our planet. Environmental pollution is an incurable disease. It can only be prevented. To conserve the Antarctic continent particularly is conserve all the human species. Please remember that. Thank you so much.